Hi guys, welcome back. If you're new here, my name is Melissa Crafter and I create custom epoxy free tumblers along with other crafts. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how I made this glitter tumbler to which I added this chapstick inspired water slide decal to. So that is something that you're interested in, please continue watching. As always, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask down in the comment section. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Thank you. So jumping right in, I'm going to start off with a prep tumbler. I do have a video on how to prep your stainless steel tumblers. I'll go ahead and link that video down below in the video description. And I'll also put it here on the right hand corner of this frame. I'm also working on an update video on how to prep your stainless steel tumblers that includes different base paint options. So stay tuned for that. For this cup specifically, I did prep it by sanding this cup with 220 grit sanding paper. I then washed it and then I spray painted it with white Rust-Oleum spray paint. Since I did spray paint it, I then waited 48 hours to allow it to off gas. Since Crystalac products are water-based, you want to allow solvent-based products like spray paint to off gas. The reason for that is because you don't want to trap any gases from the spray paint underneath your Crystalac products that will cause issues later on. To glitter my cup, I'm going to be using Crystalac's glitter glue. Everything that I use in this video will be linked down below in the video description. To apply my glitter glue, I'm going to be using this flat Taklon brush. The glitter that I'm going to be using is this white one here. It's called Snow White. It is from TomThumb Glitters. I'll link it below. I'm going to start by adding some glitter glue onto my tumbler, and using my Taklon brush, I'm just spreading that out evenly on my cup. You want to make sure you have a streak-free glitter glue application. That way when you go to add your glitter, you won't have any streaks. Why I like these Taklon brushes specifically because they add my glitter glue super smoothly and streak-free. I am now going to go in and add my glitter. Since I did match my base coat color to my glitter, I am only going to add one coat of glitter. It is ideal to base paint your tumbler the same color of your glitter. That way you only need one coat of glitter. If you do happen to need a second coat, you will allow this first coat to dry for 2 hours and then add your second coat. Now that I've added my glitter, I'm going to allow this to dry for 2 hours. Glitter glue requires 2 hours of dry time, so I'm going to do those 2 hours to allow it to fully dry. Now that my cup has dried for 2 hours, I'm going to go in and seal my glitter. To seal my glitter, I'm going to also be using Crystalac's glitter glue. I am dipping my Taklon brush into just a little bit of water to help my glitter glue kind of glide onto my cup. Sealing your glitter ensures to have a protective barrier between your glitter and your bright tone. You want to have that protective barrier, that way when you go to add your bright tone, you don't have any of your glitter falling off or moving around. I'm just adding a little bit of the glitter glue and going in with my wet brush and just kind of adding it on top of my glitter. After I add this coat of glitter glue on top of my glitter, I'm going to allow this to dry for an hour, and I'm going to go in and flatten down my glitter with parchment paper. Now that my cup has dried for an hour, I'm going to go in with some parchment paper and just flatten down my glitter by rolling my cup in the parchment paper. I do this for all my cups, especially when working with chunky glitter. You want to make sure that you get your glitter as flat as possible. That way when you go to add your coats of bright tone, you can achieve a glossy cup with less coats. Since this is a fine glitter cup, I'm only going to repeat this step once. If this was a chunky glitter cup, I will repeat this step 2 or 3 times to ensure that my glitter was well flattened down before I begin adding my coats of bright tone. After flattening down my cup with parchment paper, I'm going to allow this to dry for that additional hour that glitter glue requires to fully dry. So really quick, I want to show you guys what bright tone looks like. This here is the gallon size. They do have smaller options. You can purchase bright tone at thecrystalaxstore.com. I will also link it down below in the video description. Bright tone is a water-based non-toxic top coat. Since it is non-toxic, it's completely safe to use indoors and you don't need any personal protective equipment when using it. It does come ready to use. I transfer it into a condiment bottle for easier application. So here I'm going to add my first coat of bright tone. Every coat of bright tone is added thin. 2 paper sheets thin is how you want to keep each coat. With bright tone, a glossy finish is achieved by adding several thin coats. Each coat of bright tone should be about 3 mLs. I don't record every coat of bright tone that I give my cup simply because each coat is added the same. You want to add a thin coat, allow your cup to spin for an hour, and then dry for an additional 3 hours to total 4 hours of dry time. I'm going to continue coating my cup with bright tone every 4 hours, and I am going to sand every 3 coats. So here we are after my third coat of bright tone, and I'm going to now give my cup a good level sand. I am sanding my cup with a 400 grit sanding block. Sanding your tumbler every 3 coats helps smoothen out your cup. That way you can achieve a glossy cup with less coats of bright tone. Once I'm done sanding my cup, I'm going to wipe it down using a lint-free cloth and take it back inside and continue coating my cup with bright tone. So here we are back inside and I'm going to continue coating my cup. I'm going to add a thin coat of bright tone, just enough to where it's not dripping. Allow this coat to spin for an hour and then dry for an additional 3 hours to total 4 hours of dry time. I'm going to continue coating my cup until it is smooth and I can no longer feel the glitter. At that point, you know that you can add your decals. So while I continue to gloss up my cup, I'm going to now work on my decal. Here we are on Cricut Design Space. I am on a blank canvas and I'm going to head over to Etsy. This file here is the one that I bought. It was $3.65 and I purchased it and I downloaded it to my computer. This file is for a 20-ounce skinny straight tumbler. Since I was using a specific tumbler, I did also purchase this tumbler template. For this cup, I did use a Hobby Lobby 20-ounce skinny. So I purchased this template so that I can cut out my chapstick file to fit my cup. So here's the shop name and I bought it and I downloaded it to my computer as well. So now back to Cricut Design Space, I'm going to upload my chapstick file as well as my tumbler template. So here we have both of them on Cricut Design Space and I'm going to put them next to each other. My tumbler template came with the correct dimensions for my tumbler written right underneath of it. So I'm going to ungroup this and then I'm going to resize my template to the correct dimensions. Now that I have done that, I'm going to get rid of this template guide down here. I'm then going to bring my chapstick design on top of my template and kind of downsize it until it fits within my template. Now that I have my design within my template, I'm going to highlight both of them and I'm going to click on slice down here on the right hand corner. That's going to slice my chapstick design and make it the same size as my template. I'm then going to get rid of the template and the extra pieces that were left off. Here, Cricut Design Space gives me an error to reduce my image to 6.75 by 9.25. This is how big Cricut Design Space will let you do print and cut images. Anything bigger than that will give you this error. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to insert a shape here. I'm going to insert a square, and I'm going to cover the cherries here. And then I'm going to highlight both images, and I'm going to click on slice again right on the right hand corner. Going to slice the cherries away from the rest of the design. Which is totally fine. I'll add the cherries separate on my tumbler, and now we no longer have that error message. I'm going to click make it and send it off to my printer. I'm printing on a regular inkjet printer. Here I'm just going to choose my printer. I am going to take off the bleed, and then I'm going to turn on the use system dialog. Once I turn that on and I click on print, another screen will pop up. So here I'm going to choose my printer, and I'm going to change the presets to color fine. And then I'm also going to change the paper type to a photo glossy paper, and I'm going to make sure that the quality is on best. So here's the paper that I'm going to be using. It is from Hayes Paper Co. It is a clear Waterslide Decal paper for an inkjet printer. I do have a discount code with Hayes Paper Co. You can use promo code Melissa Crafter for 15% off of your order. Go ahead and link their website down below in the video description. This paper is my go-to for Waterslide decals. I really like how in the back of the packaging it has clear instructions on how to use it. So here is my design already printed. I did add extra cherries and extra designs to my other page here just to fill up the page and not waste any space. Since I did print this with an inkjet printer, I do have to seal this with a clear spray paint so that I won't have any ink bleeding. If you were to print this with a laser printer, you don't have to seal. I am now going to seal my design using Rust-Oleum clear spray paint. Here is the semi-gloss, but you can also use the gloss or even the matte. I'm going to give it 3 coats of this clear spray paint. I am going to wait 30 minutes in between each coat. Here I'm going to place my paper in a shipping box, and I'm going to give it 3 coats of this spray paint. After spray painting, I am going to let this paper off gas. I'm going to leave it in the box and allow it to rest for 48 hours. Since spray paint is solvent based and bright tone is water based, you do want to allow your spray paint to off gas before you add it to your cup and continue coating your cup with bright tone. So here my design has completely gassed off, and I have my cup which is completely smooth, and I can no longer feel the glitter. Here's my water, which is regular tap water, and I'm also going to have some napkins and a towel in hand. So here I have my design, and I'm going to go ahead and cut it out. I am going to just cut it with scissors. You can cut the design on Cricut Design Space, but I just prefer to cut it with scissors. So how I get my Waterslide decals to align is I wrap them around my cup how they should go and make sure that the lines align. And then using a pencil, I just draw a little guide to where I should place my Waterslide decal. Later on, I go in and simply erase these lines. I'm now going to place my decal into my water. I'm going to start off with this big piece and then add the cherries later on. Submerge your decal in the water for 30 to 60 seconds. And I also like to get my cup wet. That way I don't have any issues with my decal tearing. I then just glide some of the backing off of the decal where I'm going to be placing it down. And I align it to those lines that I previously drew with a pencil. Once I align that, I slowly begin to remove the backing off of my decal. You want to make sure that your hands are wet when you're doing this. That way you don't tear your water slide. When you begin to remove the backing, you want to do it slowly and take your time. Then I go in with my silicone brush here and just remove any of the water that is trapped underneath my water slide. And also go in with a wet finger and just push out any of the water. This tumbler is tapered, so it's not going to align perfectly since it's not a straight tumbler. As you can see where both ends meet, it kind of goes upward a little bit, and that's because the tumbler is tapered. It's definitely best to do this with a straight tumbler. I'm going in making sure that I remove all the excess water from underneath my Waterslide Decal. I am then going to go in and add the cherries to my tumbler. I am going in with a paper towel and just patting dry my tumbler. And now going in and adding my cherries. After adding my cherries, I am going to allow this cup to dry overnight just to make sure that it fully dries since it was a water slide decal application. I'm going in with the eraser to erase those little marks that I made. So here we are the next day, and I'm going to continue coating my cup with Bright Tone until I'm satisfied with the gloss finish. Since water slide decals are super thin, I am only going to need a couple more coats of Bright Tone to get this cup glossed up. As you know, Bright Tone coats are added thin. I'm going to add thin coats every 4 hours. I'm going to allow each coat to spin for an hour and then dry for an additional 3 hours to total 4 hours of dry time. Here's how my cup turned out. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. And if you aren't subscribed to my channel, be sure to subscribe. I do upload a new video every Thursday. As always, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask them in the comment section. And also be sure to follow me on Instagram. My Instagram name is MelissaCrafter00. I do post daily on there, so be sure to give me a follow. Thank you.